welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Dynamics Edition. We are going to try for the third time to get to Pravoka. I think I have all of the recording issues taken care of. Had to make a few little tweaks here and there. But we've got a couple of things to do here. Need to get to level 3. Gonna head up north as well, check out some things there. And then we're gonna head over to Pravoka afterwards, so hope you are ready. Alright, there we go, won that battle. And here's the bridge that was built ridiculously fast for us. By the king, had commissioned there. You're gonna go and step on here, and this is the prologue, not the prelude. Big difference there. And so their journey begins. What awaits the four, they do not know. Each holding an orb that 2,000 years ago shined with beauty from within, but now only darkness. Come, start your journey. Return the light of peace to our world. And then a bunch of programmer stuff. Let's get rid of that stuff. Okay, so if you remember, one of the, a couple of people in town, good, got some grimps here. Take these guys out. Had a couple of people in town talk about Matoya, how she needs her crystal to see, and how she's up north. So that is where we're headed right now. Right. Great, Mad Pony. Okay, it didn't die. Let's try that again. Okay, here we go. So now I don't have to worry about getting any more fights. Let's talk to this broom here, because talking brooms are awesome. Got Tekelis B. Hasup, a magic spell. We're just gonna run over here, just show you all the brooms say the same thing. And now before we loot the treasure chest here, it's just polite to talk to the person who owns them before you just take all their stuff. So, where's my crystal? I can't see anything without it. Who stole my crystal? So that tells us this is Matoya. She doesn't introduce herself, but we were told that she needs a crystal to see and that she's to the north, so put two and two together. And you're good to go. And please excuse the Legend of Zelda tone that might pop up here and there. I'm getting text messages from somebody that need to be replied to. So, so that Tekelis B. Hasup. If you push B select, so those brooms are speaking backwards, you get a map of the world. So you can see here that little flashing plus sign there. That's us running around on the world. All the little flashy, glowy things elsewhere are going to be towns, dungeons, caves, etc. And something else is basically the dark green is where you can walk. The light green is where you can't. However, it's also rivers as well. Rivers do not show up as blue, though lakes do, but just like individual little slivers do not. So just something to kind of keep in mind there. This isn't really a great reference anyway for some of the stuff. You know, once you've been playing for a while, yeah, we're gonna use some magic on this guy because he's big, but he's gonna give us some experience and gold that we really want. So anyway, yeah, that map isn't super accurate. So like later on, we're gonna have to navigate some rivers. It's not gonna be like the primary way to figure out where we're going. It's just not, because it's not that good. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it. So, but you can get a general idea. I mean, if you know where the city is you're supposed to be going to, and you're just like, you know, especially if you get out into the water at some points and you just can't really see where anything is, it really helps you get your, you know, kind of at least get your bearings. You're like, oh, okay, I'm not going the right direction. And there we go. Since we ran into the ogre, it looks like we hit level 3 a little bit earlier than I did in the previous tries had to record this. So here, you can see Max gets another strong hit point up. Remember, we talked about those before. And so now he's up over 80. Everybody else gets a weak hit point up here at level 3, so everybody else does not really, they don't gain a whole lot of hit points here, you know, this time around. So X still hasn't even broken 50, and we're gonna come in here to the menu. We want to get X back up, and you know, we're gonna go and use one on Undine. And you know, I'm gonna hold off for a little bit. Max has got some, you know, he's got a decent defense, so I think we can risk it here. Yeah, that's right, Imp 2. You go, you die. All right, and once we get to the next town, I'm coming back here because I just want to make sure I've got everything that we need. You know, everybody's got their spells, you know, rest up at the inn before heading out, got it and everything. Because going to Pravoka can be dangerous, so I want to make sure we're fully rested up there. But that ogre's going to help out since it gave us a decent amount of money. So we're sitting on 323 right now. I think we got all the magic that Undine needs, and X, and Guy, so everybody's good there. We're just going to rest up before we head out to Pravoka. And, you know, we're just about to get back to town, so let's go ahead and just blast this thing. Yeah, there we go. That's a pretty decent lit right there. Alright, and I think that's it for that. Oh. And one thing also is we're going to want to save some money, because the spells are a bit more expensive out there. But if you notice here, I mean, X has a, you know, he has a spell charge. He actually got another one. I didn't show it to you there. He actually got another one with that level up. And so I kind of want to get him a level 2 spell, so he has another damage spell to be able to use. And once we get to Pravoka, we'll go into the magic shop. We'll take a look at everything. So let's see here, 338. Okay, yeah, we're doing pretty good all around. But yeah, so you can see here, you know, 0-3 for level 1, 1 of 2. So you're gonna see the same thing for Guy. Same thing for Undine, so they got some extra spell charges there. That's going to definitely help us out in the long run. Alright. There we go, we're all saved up, and... oh, they always do that, those punks. So equipped with 2 heals, 1 pure. There's the loot. Don't remember if I brought this up before, so play some beautiful music, have it fill the air. Guy armor, weapons, and we are 297 experience away from the next level. So, so you may have noticed, I think I made a comment in the last video about turning off the running. I determined that I want to actually keep it on because, dang it, these guys take a little bit more to kill. So I actually decided to keep it on because I get places faster. Even though I think I got some of the issues kind of taken care of, the faster I can get to another place, the quicker that the recording will be done, and so I won't have to worry about you running over on time as much. And it looks like we're gonna have to use a cure charge on Undine there. Come on, hit big. Don't use up all of her magic. I'm gonna go ahead and Guy, he's not gonna likely do a whole lot of damage in this fight, so I'm gonna have him go ahead and try to throw a cure out here in this round. Okay, great, it's dead. We're gonna throw out a couple of cure charges after the fight here. Go ahead and do that. And we're gonna go and use one of hers also. We'll get to Pravoka pretty quick here. Yeah, we can do this. We can do this. We're just gonna have all of our magic get focused on one. And hopefully they'll both roll well and just take out the mad ponies. 17, okay. I think I actually meant to do fire with X, but oh well. If you notice there, actually, these guys... they can get 2 hits. So with that, yeah, let's go do that one there. Use up your last fire on this thing. So with the 2 hits, basically, the characters can get that as well. As they level up, they gain hit percentage, which is a stat that everybody has. Once it gets up to a certain level, they gain another hit. So right now, say Max, does an attack, and he hits something for 20 damage. Well, with 2 hits, he can hit that thing and, say do 2 hits for 40 damage. If that's kind of like his average damage there. And then the other mages kind of they take a little longer to gain those charges, or to gain those extra hits compared to the others. And dang it, that's gonna be a bunch of wasted attacks. Oh well, that's all right. It's all right. We got this. Okay, we're out of magic there. So it's just gonna be all down to melee. So this one's already taken 30 damage. Die pretty easily here, since X got a really good roll with that spell that he cast on it. There we go. Alright, and we're almost to Pravoka. We'll usually be getting there pretty soon. I'm gonna run around and give us a tour of the city. And we got this. We got this. It's just one creep. We got this. We got this. And good, it's attacking the people with the higher defense. But they can't hit worth jack. Come on. Yeah, I know I'm out of magic. I just wanted to look again to see if the charges got magically restored. Alright, let's kill this thing off. Yeah. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to mention it while we were in there. If you go back to Matoya's cave there, we got the best music in the game playing in there, and it'll come back later in the game. We got a couple other places that have it also. Alright, so okay, we'll talk to this guy. He says help, but it doesn't tell us what for. This guy tells us that the town's been invaded by pirates, and that's the pirate right there. But we're not going to talk to him because that's going to start like a little fight. So I'm going to come over here. This is the armor shop. We're going to buy a couple of things here. Going to get a wooden shield for Max because that'll up his defense a little bit. And you know what? I'm not going to be able to afford to stay at the inn and get a spell anyway, so I'm going to go and get gloves for Guy and X. I'm going to show you a couple of things here with the stuff that we're buying. Okay, so one thing also is if So actually, I'm going to touch on this before. If you hit the select key, that pulls up this little list here. You can change the order that your guys are standing in. You want the person with the biggest absorb, so that's the thing that reduces the damage that your guys take. You want them at the front because the person in the front they get attacked the most. So here's going to be a little bit of numbers. I'm not going to do a whole lot of numbers, but so there's, like I said, so there's the absorb there. So Max currently has a 15. If we come over here and equip that wooden shield, that ups him to 17. Because Onion has the same armor as him but can't equip the shield, she has a 15. The other guys, they've got a 1 because they have the same armor. And then when we equip the gloves, that's going to bump them up to 2. So that just reduces how much damage they take. So the first person in the order, they're going to get attacked 50% of the time by enemies. The other people, they're going to get attacked 25%, and then 12.5 and 12.5%. So the last two, it really doesn't matter what order they're in, but I just always have my white mage first, because, I mean, I don't know, that's just how you're supposed to do it. So we have a few different weapons here. I'm actually not going to buy anything. I'm just going to keep the rapiers for now, because they don't really add that much, and it's just kind of spending more money when I'm just going to be getting stuff in another city not too long from now, and it's going to cost even more, so I'm just going to want to kind of save my money. So here's the black magic shop. The spells just going down the list. We got ice, so that's like fire and lit, except for the base damage is a little bit higher, and of course it's also the ice element, so something's like weak to fire and doesn't resist ice. I'd still want to cast fire because it's not that big of an increase, but if an enemy doesn't resist anything, then ice is the way to go because it's going to, on average, do more damage. Dark, it inflicts the dark status. We won't really run into enemies that do that until a bit later. And what Dark does is it actually lowers the evade of the enemy as well as their ability to hit you. So it makes it harder for them to hit you and easier for you to hit them, because they're basically kind of like stumbling around, so it's like, they can't block and stuff easier. Temper would be cool if it worked. What that does is it increases the damage stat. So how we were talking before about, say Max does 20 damage with one hit. Well, with that same hit, he would do 28 damage instead with Temper. Again, if it works. Since it doesn't work, it's not worth getting. Slow, that reduces the number of hits that you get, so I was talking about that a little bit before. So say if Max can get 2 hits and then somebody casts slow on him, well then he only gets 1. And then there's another spell later on in the game that'll actually counteract that, so if somebody were to cast slow on one of my dudes, I would just unslow them. Here we have the level 2 white magic. So Lamp basically counters Dark. I don't believe it does any kind of preventive, like you can't put it on ahead of time, or anything like that, so you have to wait till you get Darked. I personally don't really feel like it's worth it, because there's really very few enemies that you'll run into in a playthrough that will actually do that to you. Mute is actually pretty useful. There's really only kind of a couple of fights that it's really good to try and use it in. Actually, one of the boss fights a little bit later on is good to try and use it on. So I'll probably come back and get that later, but I'm probably not going to get it right away. A-lit, or anti-lit, or anti-lightning, but I'm going to call it A-lit, because again, we got the whole pronounce it as it's spelled thing going on. A-lit reduces the amount of damage you take from lightning spells. And it does it for the whole party too. So as of right now, we only have fire lit, and we saw ice, though we don't have it yet. But there are spells that do the same thing, but hit everything, and of course they do a little bit more damage as well. So if there's an enemy that casts, lit 2 on your party, if you have A lit up, it reduces the damage. This is another one. I kind of have the best defense is a good offense mentality with this game at least. If you murder the enemies before they can cast Lit 2 on you, then you don't need to waste a round casting A-Lit, so that's my opinion. And then Invis. This spell, it's like Ruse, except you can cast it on anybody. Ruse can only be cast on the person that casts the spell. So if Guy casts it, he's going to get rused. Invis, you can cast it on anybody, but it doesn't do quite as much. So, everybody has the evade stat, like, so that determines how hard it is to get hit. If you're a white mage with multiple castings of ruse, or, you know, a red wizard or a knight with ruse, if you cast it a few times, then it's basically impossible to hit you, or almost impossible, I guess I should say, because there's technically a 1 in 201 chance of still getting hit. But it's super slim. You'll almost never run into it in the game if you do that. And so Ruse increases that evade stat by 80 at a time, whereas Invis only does it 40 at a time. So you can max out quicker casting Ruse, but you can do it on other people with Invis. So if I get, you know, Undine and Guy Invis, in one round they could basically get a Ruse up on X, even though X can't cast Ruse. So anyway, that's enough of that talk. So we're gonna come over here and talk to Bick. I am Bick the pirate, and surprised I am that you scurvy dogs have the nerve to face me. Mates, get those landlubbers. I think that pirate impression was a little bit better than my previous ones on the other attempts here. So I'm gonna cheat here. Well, not actually cheat, but I'm gonna have my mages that can cast a spell cast Lit on these guys, because it's basically a guaranteed kill. Whereas the others, we'll just hope that Guy rolls high and Max does his usual good amount of damage to kill everything. So talk a little bit about FFD now that we're in a new city. So this was the second city, of course, that the players got to in FFD. I still wasn't playing at this point in time, but yeah, from hearing from my brother, a couple of people joined the game in Pravoka. I believe Dano and X-Scorpion were the ones, and they had a little quest with Mohawk Man. So in this game, he doesn't really do anything. He's just kind of a standout character, because you don't really see a lot of people with Mohawks in this game. So it's just kind of, you know, a different thing to see. And so they actually made him like kind of a big character in Final Fantasy Dynamics, where he actually kind of played a part. He was the leader of the Thieves Guild, and so, you know, that's why X-Word had the mission. And then there's a Mud Hut with Wiz Imps, which they don't exist in Vanilla FF, but they're basically imps that can cast some spells for, you know, a little bit more hit points than a normal imp, and they cast magic and stuff. And the hut like collapse on people while they're inside of it, I think they're trying to do something with Crazy Potions Guy, which is another fun character that appears in FFD. So we just defeated Bick's pirates, and we talked to him, and he says, "Okay, you got me. Take my ship." Though I think it should be, "Take me ship." So he's like, "Oh no, you beat up my dudes, so here's a boat." Okay. If you notice, now that we beat the pirates, a bunch of people show up. So now there's like people in the city and stuff. So the elves live across the sea. Matoya's herb is the only thing that will awake their prince. So that seems to indicate there's something going on down there that Matoya needs the help. This guy just thanks us for beating the pirates. You know, they don't have to be afraid of him anymore. Let me duck in here real quick. So this is the item shop. Got the same things as the first sound, you know, heals, piers, tents. Cabins is the new thing, so it heals more hit points than tents, and you can save in those also out in the wild. And of course, you know, costs a little bit less than some of the other stuff. Or sorry, costs a little bit more. This guy tells us that there are many dangerous monsters in the sea. And, oh man, Mohawk's made us all the way down here. So, talk to him again. He tells us that ships can only stop at ports, and there are no ports in the north. So if you remember looking at that map, there's a big old continent to the north that we were looking at there. And I'm going to come up here, and, you know, I'm going to buy ice for X, because that way he has another way to damage stuff. And that's actually probably going to be the only spell that I buy for him. Slow I don't find to be really worth it, like I kind of said before. This guy says he's escaped from Melmond in the west, the town's in trouble, and he asks for help. So that's something we gotta keep in mind. We're light warriors, everybody's gonna be asking us to help them out. So where was I before I distracted myself? I actually can't remember, so we're gonna stay at the end. Oh, that's right, ports. So around the south here, so when we step out here, you can see there's a port. We can, I'm actually going to do this because I kind of like doing this thing. So there's a port there. If you look back at when we were over at Corneria, there was there's a little port there, like just south of the city. And so that's the only place you can actually dock a boat and do stuff. And let's come over here. So here's Corneria again. And the northern continent, when we were looking at that map, there's no docks, no ports up there. So we're gonna have to find some other way to get to that northern continent later on in the game. So these guys suck. They're really not that dangerous, but because all that the odd eyes do is they just stun you. So that they just do this little ability and they try to just paralyze, that gaze. They try to paralyze your guys. If they like succeed, then you just can't do anything for a round, and so they're just really annoying because they don't like ever die. And so they just can like really drag out a battle if they actually do stun somebody. So see, like right there. So Max can't attack now. So that means that at least one of the odd eyes is not going to die. Now luckily that time it targeted Max, who's already paralyzed. And there we go, got one down. Okay, great, I got the other one. So one thing that is nice about the sea is you get a little bit more money and experience killing stuff here. And then if you want, we can just dock here. And then if I want to stay then if I want to, I can stay at the inn here where it's cheaper. And so now I can just kind of sail around here, and then I can save at the inn, and then head back over to Pravoka when I have enough money to buy more stuff. And I'm tempted to call these guys the Imps of the Sea, like Darth did in his Let's Drink Final Fantasy, but right after he said that, they just like started murdering him and stuff, and so that wasn't good. So I'm kind of not wanting to do that, even though I kind of want to do it. There we go, X rolled a little bit higher. Oh, I think I had X attack the wrong guy there. Oh, never mind. I guess not. And Onion with the critical. We're gonna come down here. Yeah, you know what? Guy's been doing pretty well with that hammer. We're gonna go ahead and let him take a swing at that one. Come on. Okay, maybe I do need to upgrade weapons, because they're just not... they're just not really connecting here. So one thing is that new weapons do is they do increase that hit percent stat, which makes it, so they're more likely to connect. There we go. Come on. There we go. Now fighting 4 Sayhags there, that gave us a decent amount of gold there. So you got 120, 30 experience. Let's come over here. So actually, we're really close to leveling up. I'm gonna go ahead and see 323 gold. Yeah, we'll sail around a little bit more. Okay, got 4 more of them coming in here. I'm gonna go and throw ice out here. You can see the animation for it. Now something else, different between Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy Dynamics is Bick. Oh, nice. I think that was max damage actually. So Bick doesn't really show up again in Vanilla FF. Whereas in Final Fantasy Dynamics, he did kind of show up again, a few times as like a recurring villain, and then was finally defeated later on. But that was actually quite a ways later. And we still need one more battle. But yeah, so that's another little change that was made is, you know, FSA had these people that, you know, didn't really have like a large part. Like, I guess you could say Bit kind of has a part in this game, whereas like Mohawk Man didn't at all. He's just kind of, you know, the character there that people like identified from just playing the game. You know, I'm actually gonna cure X real quick, just to be safe. But yeah, so they both kind of had recurring roles. I think Mohawk Man's even made, ooh, this is not gonna be good. If I make it through this, I'm gonna get, you know, a pretty decent amount of golden experience, but ugh. Alright, let's hope this goes well. Luckily, we've got 2 spells for X here. Alright, great. 1 down. Yeah, honestly, overall, I have to say I really am liking the changes that have been made to the normal game. Especially because a lot of us are just really, you know, played the game a lot, or so familiar with it, so seeing something, you know, some things get kind of changed up like that is kind of nice. We're gonna go Undine, try and finish that one off. Gonna Guy attack, the same one, and X is gonna ice this one. Because he's cold as ice. Come on, Max, man, like, hit that darn thing. Ooh, nice, ice doubled. So that's something else that actually can happen in the game here is some spells, so like the damaging spells can actually double, so they increase how much damage it does over like a normal attack with it. These guys just do not want to die, do they? Imp of the Sea 2. Okay, there we go. Finally got one dead. I think we're gonna wrap this episode up here pretty soon. If everything goes to plan, I believe we should be doing quite a bit better off this time around. You'll have a little bit more recording time. There we go. Finally, Max got a big old crit there. And oh, hey, look at that. Yep, we are level 4. So Max got another strong hit point up there. As did Undine. So now she's up over 70. So is Guy. He's up over 80. And X finally got one. So he's at a nice solid 70 hit points even. You know what? I almost hate that I did this now, because I want to go back to Pravoka, because I've got enough money I can stay at the inn there and get a spell. Okay, now that's one thing that is nice about the seas. I actually got kind of lucky there, and not that I didn't run into anything. Very often you will, you know, going that far you'd run into something, but you don't run into stuff quite as often. And oh, you know, that's white magic. Let's hold off on that. And, you know, I'm not even gonna get Invis, because later on I'll get an item that's essentially better than that. You know, wait, we already got it. We're gonna get Undine Ice also. So that's actually probably all of the level 2 stuff I'm gonna be getting for now. I'll probably come back and get Mute later, kind of before that boss fight where I'm actually gonna use it. And so we will save here, and I'm gonna do the customary. Max is gonna wave goodbye, and we'll close out episode 3 of Let's Play Final Fantasy Dynamics Edition. Hope everybody's enjoying it so far. I got, you know, the audio issues fixed. I think I got some of the video problems I was having and getting this episode recorded taken care of as well. And yeah, we will see you next time. Peace out.